Okay, I got a slight confession to make because I did kind of say like I don't really celebrate Christmas. It's just another day. The sun comes up, the sun's gonna set. It's just another day on planet Earth. For me. But I really looking at it, I kind of do. It is a time of year when you show your respect for what happened during the year, people you met, people you collaborated with. A time of year for being thankful. But you can do that all year round. But of course, people have their holidays. They come away from work and have some time off. It was earlier away from work for me, as it is from a lot of people across the UK, because it is as expected. I totally expected this to happen anyway. Another, I don't want to say lockdown because that sounds too heavy restriction maybe. Only essential shops are open, where shops that would do your food, your necessary resources, not shops that just sell stuff that you really do not need. Like a lot of retail things, just selling like, I don't know, things that you don't really need to survive, and necessary things are for consumables that's handy for your health as well as your nutrition. They're open. Others are closed, and that's the proper way to do it, I think. It's a necessary precaution. It is crap that we have to do this, and it's crap that people run around with a disregard of the scientific advice. I think I'd like to believe that a majority get it, they understand. I think they do. It seems like a majority don't when you actually work in retail yourself. Depending on what kind of shop you're working in, the products you sell will dictate what kind of customer base you get as well, particularly if it's very categorized. So I'm being furloughed again. This is the third time this year for me. And, regardless of, I said, we don't really celebrate it. Yeah, well, my celebration all year round really is very respectful and thankful for having the opportunity to have seen some YouTubers out there who are passionate about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. The way they use this technology, the YouTube platform, is something that I've always looked for, and I always, many times I'm thinking, where are these people that really care, really collaborate? And there's a lot of YouTubers are too self-interested, but I find people like Steve McRae are totally not too self-interested. They are very passionate and wear their heart on their sleeve to a fault, actually, too charitable, because human nature is you can't always trust human nature, and if you're very charitable, it's a very amicable thing and respectful thing, but that can be abused by other people. We've seen that happen. I still think, and even more so now after everything I've seen, that Steve and Cheshire will make a brilliant team for Non Sequitur. If and when that you just get the channel back, and it is very evident that just the way you bounce off each other, correct each other and so on. I love the fact that you're always willing to be wrong. You're not cocky, not egotistically self-important, which can happen very easily to some of the bigger YouTubers out there, and human nature in general, because when you surround yourself with those who made you successful, it can go to your head. Like, we see the same with top experts in whatever subject. They're so experted and so brilliant expertise. Some people that they start to treat other people like, oh, you don't know about this. I have to teach you this and that. But really, after all I've seen, people increasingly show that the different complexities and different aspects of human nature is very much like a snowflake. We're all the same. Every snowflake is the same base geometry, but every single one is different. And the differences are infinite. And how things appear to one person and another person, it can be totally different, but they still find some agreement. We look for agreement. Steve definitely looks for ways to teach people. If he knows a fact and he wants somebody to understand a fact, he goes out of his way, above and beyond, to try and convey that fact. And if it is a fact, like Landon said, don't argue facts with Steve. That's very evident as well. He's incredibly stubborn on that. Maybe stubborn's not the right word, perhaps, because facts are facts. Facts don't care about feelings. But again, regardless, I love the shows, the Cheshire. I love that time of the month show. It's not really yours. It's yours as well as Manya's, Sweet Heathen, Nikki. Great. I feel like I learn a lot from all these YouTubers. Even when it's not evident I've learned anything, I still feel like I've learned something or gained something from it. And I think sometimes it is just the respect for trying to improve on normal social discourse, rather than the haters saying, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, via one perspective. They're not very flexible, are they? All the haters on different perspectives on things. How things appear can be a lot about perspective. The conversation with how we perceive colours is a perfect example of that. Certainly, I think, like I've mentioned, the colour thing is really down to how we process information. Is really down to a necessary processing for biological survival. There's no other need, really, from the biological standpoint, until we, now we're so smart we can intervene with actually affecting our own evolutions. I say evolutions with an S on the end because it's branching off different ways, in multiple ways, that are side effects from our own conscious effort now with technologies and so on. Maybe I'll try and write an article on that. I've held back quite a bit, really, on writing anything new at Exploratory Minds for a while, because time, effort, and thinking how to articulate myself is, those are my personal blocks in the way. But I think it's worth celebrating 2019 to 2020. Really they're my two favourite years really now for using when it comes to using YouTube, because I met and seen some amazing people, and let's not forget, the two people I helped out of and continue to really help out with exploratoryminds.com, Jerry and Lisa. Some people I know in person, they're very thankful as well, and I would not be here saying this if it wasn't for those individuals. I wouldn't be doing any of this perhaps if it wasn't for people telling me, hey, maybe you're doing this page and like in the website a little bit wrong, here's how to do it better. Jerry has been a individual like that for me. He knows how I think and communicates well in translating data to, because I often feel like I don't think like other people. I guarantee a lot of people feel that way about themselves as well. But I think Jerry kind of gets my wavelength, and he suggests things in a way that I can understand it. And he makes an effort too. And I see Landon, that's been on Steve McRae's show, incredibly smart individual, mind-blowingly, and it's fascinating to listen to him. But his level of patience and very amicable approach how to deliver information so that you understand it is, he's lovely. He's very caring like that. On top of that, he can, at the same time as doing that, he's able to be to the point as well. That's something you don't see very often. It's very skillful. So Cheshire, Steve, Manya, Sweet Heathen, or your That Time of the Month show, Nikki, great show, Steve, great show, whoever we've had on as well. Red's Rhetoric, the rocket launches, brilliant stuff. I've watched Simon Down a couple of times, more than a few times really. Team Skeptic, very entertaining individual, full of energy. I'd like to see Team get into, I think he's going to as well, get into more of the other aspects of people are just denying the facts out there, right? Rather than just the flat Earth thing, because I do think it's done, and it's overly done, that the whole flat Earth thing. I can see why. I mean, I used to think, oh, why are you even bothering? But I can actually see why now, because it is dangerous to be like that towards some people who might be victims of that type of information rather than perpetrators of it, in that they could be very naive and then they end up being a perpetrator. I think Nathan Thompson is totally mentally ill. The whole concept is an idea that's hijacked his mind. This is the thing with ideas. Some people out there have argued that ideas are actually alive somehow. And the idea has the people rather than the person then, rather than the person having the idea. That's certainly true with people like Nathan. He's enslaved by all that, and anyone who tells him the facts is part of some secret cabal. Do you know what? It would be wonderful if human nature was actually that coherently practical at forming groups at such a large scale to conspire, because it would mean that we can cooperate with each other in such an amazing way on large scales. It actually doesn't happen. You put more than 15 to 20 primates on one thing, there's always going to be disagreements here and there and arguments and so on. Thing with disagreements and checking yourself, your own group, checking your own group. Are we right about this and all that? I see a lot of that in a wonderful way with Steve's crowd, Steve McRae and Cheshire. They've got the same attitude, and I see it with your own crowd, Cheshire. And I see it with the other YouTubers as well. They know, you all know, as I do, when to take the mickey out of yourself, not take yourself too seriously, which from me is kind of surprising to some people, because I'm quite serious sometimes, and then sometimes I think I take myself too seriously, but it's recognising that as well. I mean, not overly so. I think further back in the years I go, I used to have more of that. I just love the whole. It's really cool. I find it worth doing what I do because of the people I've seen. Now they actually inspire me to keep going. Not so long ago, I thought, and I've done that quite a few times. Maybe about four or five I can count over the past years, thinking, why don't we even bother? Shut this down, shut that down, and just go scrap the internet and go read a book or something, or read, get into reading books. But that's not social, and I'm a very social person. And during the virus issue, the pandemic, what's the next best opportunity? What it is to use the internet and talk to you guys. I know I don't get many comments on my videos, but I do see that people are watching here and there. My videos are not really always that oriented to have people to know what to say. Sometimes I think, anyway, depending on the video. I mean, there's the other channel as well, Exploratory Minds Project YouTube channel, as well as this EM Network channel. I've got a picture here of a ThinkPad, very small one and a much larger one. I love these machines, and I've talked about the ThinkPad in a previous video. So this is another video blog, and I've seen in my notifications that the one I ordered recently has now been posted, which, like I said, I don't think it's going to be that long that I have to wait, and it's been a few days really. So there's going to be a delay. So it's been dispatched. Also, the palm rest has been dispatched to come for that model, because, like I said, there's cracks in the palm rest. I'll take it apart, make sure there's not too much dust inside, clean it up, and prise it all back together. And I'm excited. I'm interested to see what I can do with this machine coming. It's not the same model as you can see on the picture, but that is a ThinkPad, as ThinkPads go. Very good for business. Business people use them a lot for the portability and practicality of these. The keyboard layout is famous for it. People love it because it makes it so easy to type. The whole layout just seems to be very intuitive. I do like it myself as well. So I'm on board with that opinion. People have the keyboard. Certainly one of my favourite layouts. Why other systems can't be laid out like this, I don't know. I discovered I was a bit confused about these are IBM machines and Lenovo. But who's Lenovo? What happened was Lenovo bought the IBM stuff, right? So Lenovo are really the ones who put more inspiration into the ThinkPad range, really. But they carried on using the logo, so you have some ThinkPads out there with IBM printed on them, as well as Lenovo. But if it's got Lenovo on it, it's a Lenovo machine. Very, very cool machines, and they're bringing back some of the latest ones are way beyond my price range. But these are, they're very robust. They're used on the International Space Station. It's not because they're like super powerful or super processing, but it's because of their durability. Like it's not that. It's some of the plastic outer casing is plastic, and not metal or whatever. But it's that thicker, durable sort of stuff. Not these flimsy, pathetic, thin, crappy cases that you have today of a modern laptop buying extortionate price as well for something that well, we know who to blame for fashionable laptops, really. And fashionable does not mean safe in portability. The whole idea of a laptop should be is you're not afraid to have it as a portable system. That's deliberately moving away from desktop. That was the whole idea, right? Really. You take your work with you, and I can put my laptop in a rucksack I take with me without being too scared of putting my bag down too heavy or accidentally dropping it for a little bit of distance. Nothing breaks, right? So in these machines I can change the screen. Anyway, Laptop Retrospective, go and check him out. He's another awesome, brilliant YouTuber as well. They can change the screen, change the hard drive, change the memory, change the LAN card for another internal hard storage device. There's so much you can do with these systems as well. It's just the CPU fan, you can put a new one in, all that. You can get in there and do stuff. You can't really do that with a modern day laptop because it's so sealed. Apple tend to use proprietary everything, proprietary connections, proprietary screws even on a system. So you have to pay a Apple technician to get in there, and you get ripped off by them. Really, on something that is so mind-blowingly simple to fix. Half the time it's software problem if there's anything needed to be fixed. Not necessarily hardware, but even if it is hardware, it's something simple. So yeah, it just blows my mind. It's a piss take with people getting ripped off with like products that are really high in price for the system. That could be like you buy something much older and you can rework that older technology to something that matches that high price machine in a much cheaper way. You save some money there. And of course, there's some of the main components that come with something like that, because it's old, that might actually fail as well. But there's ins and outs, the swings and roundabouts of this. Again, though, thank you very much for being who you are. Laptop Retrospective, Cheshire, I think, Steve McRae, Sweet Even, Manya, Nikki, um, your time of the month show. I love that show. Joey D, we are Lacey Joes now. We did a live show about the moon. It was great. Team Skeptic, great. Again, entertaining individual. All these individuals are, there's too many of you to actually just feel, if there's anyone I missed out, I'm sorry, but you're all absolutely amazing. It has been a fascinating year, actually, watching all these different people, and you're very entertaining in many different ways as well. Thank you for being you, and I'll be looking forward to seeing who DFOTY is. I personally want Unirock to win it. Because who's dumber? The dumb fuck who looks for people who will buy your bullshit, or the people who buy the bullshit. I think it's the one who looks for people to big himself up, in Uni's case, because that doesn't help him. Like I've said before, if I go into a public bar, pre-COVID, mind, I would always look for those I would consider more informative, more intelligent than myself, so I could learn from them. Not look for people dumber than myself, so that I could have some superiority, ego boost. That's what Uni tries to do, believe it or not. And it's very difficult to imagine people being dumber than he is. But they're there. Just look at Menace to Sobriety. But they are so low on the bar, if they become their own category. They're beyond DFOTY. They're very easy to be echo chambers. People like to echo, and we all do it. People like to echo other people, what they're saying. It must be true because so-and-so said it was. That kind of attitude. But this is why we need to interject our own thinking with critical thinking and logical analysis, because we're not really critical thinkers as human beings as much as we like to think. I think 70% of the time we're just emotional. Until we start practicing that, the more analytical way of thinking, then we can shift the balance from that default. And you look at Twitter, even if you're not having a shitstorm with Twitter, you're already in that mindset of being emotional because you already know how much of a shitstorm Twitter is. So people fall out over the most simplest things as well. And I understand blocking because you just don't want to deal with people's bullshit. And it's not always personal either. My block list is freaking huge now, because I don't want to deal with people constantly not understanding the point when it comes to Twitter, because I got better things to push forward in my own way. I got two Twitter accounts, EM Network as well as the more random account. Haven't used the EM Network one much lately, but there are things to come. Posts I'll be putting out on that because there's some testing that's gone on. The original software suppliers for the social pages we have at exploratoryminds.com, for instance. The SoftLab 24, that's where that came from, have this possibility of video calling where I won't have to pay any shitload extra for my server because it goes to a different server for that service. Don't know when it's going to be fully implemented, if at all, and it's open source, the whole platform, so everything I've changed and changed it to a degree where exploratorymines.com has its own uniqueness and its hours. We don't know if entirely there might be a number of things we have to change for the video calling to be compatible with all that, which is why there's a testing platform that Jerry and Lisa will be testing more of as well, before we even bother to plug it into the main site as well. Although sometimes you might see me test something and I crash the whole site for maybe a couple of hours and then it's back okay again. I'll take some risks here and there. I'm not afraid to break things as long as the user base isn't broken and they're still able to do their thing. People watching are welcome to join. It's for free. I did have some charge on that bit back here, and I've discussion with Jerry. We decided to take the charge off. So blogging, posting, private messaging, a lot of things. You can monetize your own profile by plugging in your PayPal as well. People can donate to you. Just check it out, and if you like it, great. If you don't like it, no problem, But give us feedback though. Constructive criticism is always welcome, but you need to be constructive over it. Unlike the haters, like, oh, you're a meanie poopy head. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah. It's a running joke over Steve. But this has been a very interesting couple of years. I think I'm lucky actually to gain knowledge of the certain individuals. Thank you for being you. I look forward to whatever happens in the future. Total respect, much love, and peace out. I'll look forward, as always, to doing another video soon. Have a great one, whatever you're doing, however you enjoy it. Stay safe. Do your due diligence, whatever your rules are. And I look forward to doing another video soon. Cheers, bye.